I don't know if anyone has a closer court date. It's just something we always ask because it's always like whoever has the closest court date gets some love, you know?
I've got a close court date, but I'm comfortable with it. July 18th. I've already been through one arraignment attempt. My next one's a motions hearing to dismiss. The judge actually told me to file a motion to dismiss, so.
Are you ready to role play against Judge Lephos?
I'd be down. I got time to kill.
And I'm down.
What is the charge?
We're going to go with the one I have now. Expired, tag longer than 6 months.
Okay, and is this your first hearing?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with the first hearing.
Okay. So you are charged with having expired tabs or tags. Today is your arraignment hearing. Today you can plead not guilty or guilty. So typically people will come in and plead not guilty because it reserves their rights, it protects their rights. So how do you plead today, sir?
Well, Your Honor, it is my intention to plead guilty here today. I just have a few clarifications about the cause and nature of these proceedings. My first clarification would be...
Hold on. It sounds like you need a lawyer. If you're going to come in here with questions, I would highly recommend that you just allow me to appoint you a lawyer, and I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. I am appointing...
Objection, Your Honor. The defense waives his right to legal counsel. Furthermore, it's the defendant's intention to plead guilty here today.
Whoa. Whoa.
Out of character.
Whoa. Yeah, pause. Whoa. Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
Why are you waiving your right to legal counsel?
Well, out of character, it's better for me to represent myself, so I'm fine with waiving legal counsel.
Okay. Whoa, boy. Wow. Okay. Do you ever notice how all of the courthouses are perfectly fine once they realize you're not going to get a lawyer to let you, quote unquote, represent yourself? You know how that's an option that is perfectly fine with them?
They want you to fuck up.
No, there's legalese going on here, and I'm going to get to it. It's all about the word game. That's what lawyers do. Why are they fine? Okay, no. Are they fine? Like if you say, hey, I don't want a lawyer. I want to represent myself. I want to represent myself. Will they let you?
Represent?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to get at?
No. Well, it's way deeper than just a word game. Will they let you represent yourself?
Absolutely, all the time.
Okay. If the court and the judges are okay with you taking one of their options, that option is designed to F you. If you waive your right to legal counsel, you're basically saying, I am totally sufficient, even though I have no training, to defend myself against this entire system. Why would we ever say that when we could point out the hypocrisy they display by trying to, quote unquote, obey a constitution that says you have the right to an assistance of counsel? The right to the assistance of counsel speaks nothing of bar memberships. The right to the assistance of counsel is a fundamental justification of someone trying to defend themselves to get help from another human being. So A, why would you waive such a advantage? And B, by representing yourself, if they're down with that, how can that help you? They're not down with anything we do. So if they're down with that, how could that help you? 2 questions there. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead with the first one.
Why would you waive your right to such an advantage of having another human being help you against this system?
No good answer on that one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Why do
Wait,
you think they allow?
I'm in the shot right now. Re-ask the question. I might have an answer.
Why would you ever want to waive the advantage of having another human being help you out?
Well, if it's an actual lawyer, I don't think he'll be acting on your best interest. So I mean, I don't feel as if that's an advantage.
That's why I said another human being, and not another.
Right to counsel. So you saying I can bring my friend in here who has experience with this?
No, I didn't. Okay. So when I say words, I choose every one of them very carefully. I didn't say right to counsel. I said assistance of counsel, because that's in their language, in their amendments. So assistance of counsel means, hey, can I have another human being to help me out? Now, understand, I'm not using these words to save me. I'm using these words to mock them, because I'm pointing out the hypocrisy between what they claim to value and obey and what they're actually doing, thereby pointing out to the sheeple behind us that this is nothing but an illusion of violent bullies. So I'm going to represent myself. Boy, you just gave up that golden opportunity to convince the sheep that they're nothing but a bunch of violent hypocrites.
Yeah, that question was above my pay grade.
So we want assistance of counsel. What we don't want is a bar member. And I don't want to represent myself, because if I agree to represent myself, I agree to participate in these interactions voluntarily.
I get it.
Right?
Don't waive your right to counsel. Just don't have anyone else representing you.
Yes. And so I'll lastly summarize with this. Any attempted arraignment, there are two goals that the state, quote unquote, wants to accomplish and threaten you with violence if you don't allow. 2. 1 is to get your plea. 2 is to get the matter of the attorney settled. Either you will sign documentation admitting a bunch of stuff and screwing yourself over to get a public defender, or you will waste a shit ton of money on someone who is just a paid manipulator and an agent of the state against you, or you will waive that right and claim to represent yourself. Now there's a fourth, and that is to require, not request, not demand, but require the assistance of counsel, which is another human being to help you out. Outside of the bar, fuck the bar. The Constitution and the amendments that give you this mention nothing of a bar. The bar came after this. The bar is a twisting of the Constitution and the amendments. And we don't rely on any of this. We point out this to them and to the sheeple to expose, again, their contradictions, because, again, truth is consistent. And if they're not being consistent, they're liars. And if they're liars, they're wrong. And if they're wrong, you are right. Therefore, all charges should be dismissed. Make sense?
I don't know if that was to me, but I'm going to say yeah.
All right, I know that was ranty, but that's why I had to put all the brakes on. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt the role play. My bad. Just, I mean, if you got something better, I'm all ears. I sincerely am listening. If we represent ourselves, it's better because of this. Man, I'm all ears. But they desperately want to solve the lawyer issue. Desperately. And you solve it for them when you say, I will represent myself. I have given so much grief to judges about the lawyer issue, it's not even funny. Like, I've crushed them with it. It felt good. So why would I ever want to give that up by saying, yeah, I waive my right. Here's my signature on a waiver to the right of counsel. I represent myself. Damn, really? Damn, all right. Go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead with the role play. I'll shut up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't mind that. That was a good learning.
All right, so how do you plea?
My intention is to plead guilty, but I had a few clarifications about the cause and nature of these proceedings. My first clarification is, do I have the right to a fair and meaningful hearing here today?
You do have the right to a fair and meaningful hearing. That's why I'm here, to ensure that this is a fair and meaningful hearing.
So just to clarify this, never scratch that. My next clarification is: am I presumed innocent of all the charges here today?
Sir, is there something you're trying to get at with these questions? It sounds like you need a lawyer.
Robbie, I don't know this guy. Will you let him go all the way through dismissal just to see if he can get there, and then grill him?
Yep.
Because I know how you can, and I love that, but I just want to see how far he can get.
Okay. So,
yes.
I'm sorry. Can you ask the question again?
No, you just said yes.
Yes.
Am I presumed innocent of every element of the charge here today?
Of course you are.
Is jurisdiction an element of the charge?
Is jurisdiction an element of the charge? Yes, it is.
And if I'm presumed innocent of every element of if I am presumed innocent of every element of the charge, and jurisdiction is an element of the charge, likewise, am I presumed innocent of jurisdiction?
Well, you're presumed not guilty at this point until the prosecutor proves otherwise, which will happen at trial. But you've said that you intend to plead guilty.
Good one.
I don't need any clarifications about whether I'm guilty or presumed innocent. I'm just wondering if I'm presumed innocent of jurisdiction, the element of jurisdiction.
Well, right now you are presumed innocent of all of the charges, including all of the elements of the charges.
Thank you, Your Honor. I already asked about the charges and my innocence to the charges. I just needed clarification on, am I presumed innocent of the element of jurisdiction?
Well, sir, I already answered your question. I already told you that you are presumed innocent of every element of the charges.
Thank you. Just to clarify, jurisdiction is an element of the charges, and I am presumed innocent of the elements. Am I likewise presumed innocent of jurisdiction?
Well, you're presumed innocent of every element of the charges, like I said.
Thank you. Has the prosecution submitted any evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction?
That remains to be seen. That's something that we will handle at trial if it comes to that. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want to plead guilty today, then you're going to be waiving your right to a trial.
And just to clarify, Your Honor, are you saying that jurisdiction is a trial issue?
Yes, jurisdiction is a trial issue.
Just to clarify, have higher courts ruled that jurisdiction is an issue that may be challenged at any time?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I mean, it wasn't, man, by the way, you're doing well. You're doing well. It wasn't super sharp, but man, I'll take it. That was pretty dang good. But once you start relying on, hey, but judge, haven't higher judges than you ruled a certain way? You're challenging jurisdiction. So you're challenging the jurisdiction of this judge, but you're perfectly content to be satisfied with the jurisdiction of the higher judges who still don't provide factual evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction to try and pressure this judge to agree with you? You can't rely on higher courts. If you rely on higher courts, you rely on higher jurisdiction. There is no higher jurisdiction. It's a principle. Either they have it or they don't. I'm probably being too harsh with my red pill. But do you get what I'm saying?
This does throw off judges, though.
No. It throws them off from their direct path temporarily. It will not throw them off from their direct path for long. They only have to take a sidetrack to convince the sheeple behind you, because again, that's where the power is, before they get back on their path. So you're right, it will distract them, but that doesn't mean it has ultimate power. And it's not even consistent power. You don't want to rely on the decisions of higher courts to save you. According to me and my humble opinion, you want to rely on convincing the sheeple behind you through easily digestible language that is legalese hip.
I can always rephrase that. I can ask, can jurisdiction be challenged at any time, not just trial? A little more vague.
Okay,
Is
but
go ahead. No, well, are you saying that jurisdiction is only a trial issue?
Yeah, that's the question I asked the judge.
Okay, so he asked you, Judge, is jurisdiction only a trial issue?
No. Jurisdiction is a trial issue, but you can challenge jurisdiction at any time. But in this court, if you wish to do that, you're going to have to submit a motion to that effect.
Thank you, Judge. I actually did submit a motion for the evidence the prosecution relies upon to prove the element of jurisdiction.
Well, I read through that motion, and it looks like something that you obtained off the internet. It appears to be filled with a bunch of gobbledygook.
Is that a legal term? Objection, point of clarification. Gobbledygook? Keep going, sorry. So don't ask for anything to prove anything, by the way. Just like the word questions, take the word proof out of your head, out of your vocabulary. If you ask for proof, you ask for a trial. We don't do that. We're holding an intention to plead guilty here today. That means no trial. We don't even need proof because our position is so powerful it doesn't require proof. It only requires whether or not the prosecution has given a document to the court. That's it. I don't need to judge a document or put it through a process of evidentiary hearings or determinations. I don't need to do any of that. F all of that. I just want to know if the prosecution has given it yet or not. Do I have the right to know whether or not the prosecution has provided any documentation whatsoever to the court as of yet, yes or no, in charging me with a crime? Because if I do, then great, perfect. I've got every copy of everything I need except one piece before I can plead guilty, pay the fine, and leave here today now. I just need a copy of the element of jurisdiction. Have they provided any factual evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction as of yet, yes or no? Ta-da! Done. No proof. We don't need proof. Our position is so strong, we do not require proof. Only they use a word like that. Sorry, I keep interrupting, but whatever.
So, Your Honor, are you denying the motion to dismiss for the motion for the evidence or the prosecution to whether or not the prosecution submitted evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction?
Well, your motion is filled with a bunch of legal arguments that don't make a lot of sense. So I am denying the motion based upon the fact that it is frivolous.
Objection, point of clarification. I require to make no argument here today. At any point in time, I only wish to clarify the allegations of the prosecutor. If you don't find any of this to be or to make any sense, as you say, please point out to me the sentence in English to you that doesn't make any sense so that I can clarify. I find it hard to believe that a law school graduate such as yourself and a judge doesn't understand common English. But if you want to point it out to me, go right ahead, sir. I'm all ears. I'll help you.
Well, it appears that in your motion you're challenging the court's jurisdiction, their authority to proceed in this matter.
Objection, point of clarification. I respect what you're saying, Judge. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't mean to. With all due respect, it's not you I'm after. I'm the prosecutor, see? I'm clarifying whether or not the prosecution has provided a document. regarding the element of jurisdiction as of yet, yes or no? See? Mr. Prosecutor, have you provided a factual document about jurisdiction, yes or no?
You don't have to answer that. The prosecution only has to provide the evidence to prove their case at a trial. I have not reviewed the evidence at this point. So I am unaware of what evidence the prosecution is relying on. That is something that we will do at trial if we get to trial.
Judge, are you saying on the record that you, in preparation for this case, have not reviewed any of the documentation that the prosecution has yet provided?
Sir, it is not my job to review evidence. My job today is to get your plea. You can plead guilty, you can plead not guilty. It's up to you.
Well, if you haven't reviewed the evidence, do you even know whether or not this is for a speeding ticket or a murder charge?
Well, the charge is driving with expired tabs.
Oh, so you have reviewed the evidence then. You have reviewed the evidence. Because if you hadn't reviewed the evidence, you wouldn't know that, right?
What I have looked at is the charging instrument, which I believe you have a copy of.
Objection, point of clarification. What is the difference, in your opinion, between reviewed and looked at? Just so I know. Just so it's a fair and meaningful hearing, as if you've previously admitted to. What's the difference, in your words, between reviewed and looked at?
Sure.
I'm dying to know.
I'm not here to play your games. All
and
right.
so is everyone behind me. We're all dying to know the difference between reviewed and looked at. Really?
Sir, this is my courtroom, and you are not going to come.
Oh, it's your courtroom. I'm a taxpayer, and you get paid by what? Oh, this is your courtroom. Oh, I see how this works. Oh, amazing. If I only had known. Oh, so you got the guns, right? How much you want me to pay you to leave me alone? How about that? How much does it take for me to pay you in Federal Reserve notes, green printed pieces of paper, for you to leave me alone, and my family, and my wife, and my child? How much will it take? I'll pay you right now. Here's my wallet. How much? Hey, you with the gun. How much? You over there with the pen and the computer, taking documentation. How much? Hey, black robe wearer with your wooden hammer and your wooden throne. I'm duly impressed and intimidated. Trust me. How much to get you to leave me alone? Anyone got any factual evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction? No? Oh,
Sir,
what a shame. How much?
Are you finished?
I'm done.
All right, like I said, this is my courtroom, and if you're going to come in here and challenge jurisdiction, then you're going to have to write a motion to that effect.
I'm not challenging jurisdiction. Where did you get that impression? I'm here to plead guilty. I said it from the beginning. Look, do you see this in my hand? Bailiff, give a copy of this to the judge.
Sir, you're guilty.
It's obviously hard of hearing and seeing.
Your guilty plea is clearly contingent upon us giving you evidence that would only be shown to you at trial.
Who's us? There is no us, Judge. I'm looking to the prosecutor. I'd appreciate it if you'd stay out of this as a fair, impartial, balanced, and unbiased judge. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, have you provided any factual evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction as of yet, yes or no? Oh, no? Oh, what a shame. Oh, gosh darn it. Really, that's so inconvenient for you and your side and your career and your student loans. Oh, boo-hoo. What will your girlfriend think about that, prosecutor? Oh,
sir, if you continue these shenanigans...
Shenanigans? Objection, point of clarification. What's a shenanigan?
Sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt if you say another word. Do you understand? Very good. So as I was saying, this is my courtroom, and I'm not going to have you coming in here with whatever you've learned on the internet about the law. The law is very important, and blah, 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 blah for 5 minutes. So I am entering a not guilty plea on your behalf. I am appointing Mr. So-and-so as your defense attorney, or you can call him assistance of counsel if you'd like.
I walk out of the room. At this point, I walk the fuck out of the room. Just so you know, I'm not saying anything. I just turn around, I laugh, I give the hang loose sign to everyone, and I walk the fuck out of this courtroom. But just go ahead, Judge.
We will in 3 weeks. This matter is adjourned for today.
And I'll get that date later when I call the courthouse tomorrow. Now, who won? Tell me. Who the fuck won in the court of public opinion there? Anyone tell me? I mean, yeah, I got crazy. I was way crazier than I'd get in real life. But I was trying to make a point. Who won? I did. Goddamn right I did.
Yep.
You're a lot nicer than I am. Or I'm a lot nicer than you are. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, it's all about the sense of humor, right?
You got that confidence level in court that I can't touch yet.
Yeah, it's easy to get held back by fear.
Like, I'm articulate and can speak, but that kind of shenanigans.
That's what I say. Like, there comes a point where you no longer worry about what they say. I don't give a fuck. And they learn. Like, after that judge, he knows he has to worry about what I'm going to say next. Because, I mean, I interrupted. I got way too aggressive there, right? Like, if Robbie was playing a judge from, like, New Jersey or some shit like that, he just would have been like, oh, F you, shut the fuck up right now. And I wouldn't have got out all those punchlines. So you kind of test the waters, right? And you know where that line lays. Notice, as soon as he said one more word and you're in jail, you didn't hear another word out of me. I just turned around and left. Right? Because I won. I just won. As soon as he says one more word, you're in jail, I'm like, the choir is going off in my head. Whoa! Way to go. Good job. Pat on the back. Awesome. Because
I
I just
honestly
won.
forgot I was watching. I mean, I honestly forgot I was even in like a chat. Like I had any input. Like it kind of felt like I was on a YouTube video, like funny moments in the courtroom or some shit. That was really good.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how it's gone. That's how it's gone.
Getting some educating.
And they run. I'm telling you. Fucking run. Great. All right, I ought to take a break from this for a second. I'll probably be back in like 20 minutes or so. Cool.
Take that pee break.
Yep. 20 minutes. It's more than a pee break.
Peace. I'm here all night, honestly, till I go to bed. I ain't doing nothing else. This is my main focus for a long time.
So yeah, Robert, he like, I'm surprised he didn't speak up sooner. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, if I were a judge in the courtroom, I'd probably have spoken up a lot faster. It's a little entertaining.
Yeah, Bowman goes in there all Rambo style. I'm more Columbo, like, ish.
Honestly, that's some real balls. If he can actually go in the courtroom and do that, he has some brass fucking balls on him.
He has done that. He's got videos where he's done that.
That's funny. Where does where does he live? I need to hug him or something. That's fine.
Well, and I'm of the opinion that if you go in there and show them that you are not afraid, and if you consistently keep the burden on them and don't worry about, what a lot of people are worried about is making the judge mad or causing the problem to become worse because you're challenging the judge's authority, stuff like that. I'm of the opinion that as long as you don't self-incriminate by saying things that you don't realize that you're saying, and you consistently hold them to the fact that they have not shown any evidence of the authority, that you sort of have you're sort of left alone by them. And that's my opinion, despite the fact that I have seen judges hold people in contempt and threaten them with contempt, and I've been held in contempt myself. But I believe that the situations that I have seen where people have been held in contempt could have been prevented if they had chosen different words or different actions.
Okay, cool. So can you actually walk out if he says, if you say one more word, I'm gonna find you in contempt? Like at that point, like if you do say another word, like he can lock you up. So I mean, do you, like he said, do you actually win at that point?
Well, think about it.
Well,
What's your safest option at that point?
Yeah. I mean, if you say you can't talk, you can't defend yourself, that means you're not having a fair and meaningful hearing.
yeah, and I think it also depends on the situation. When I was told not to say another word, I just stood there and waited and held up a sign that said, "Is it safe to speak yet?" And then when they finally wanted me to speak, I asked if it was safe. But I think walking out is not so bad of an option. I would be paying close attention to what they say as you're walking out, because if they're indicating that you walking out will cause violence to happen, then that's one thing. But if they're not really saying anything, then you could always just walk straight to the counter and have a motion prepared already if you've managed to write one, to get him to recuse himself and to end whatever he said, or vacate whatever he did, the not guilty plea, the assigning of a lawyer, all of that stuff, and just say you weren't able to effectively defend yourself if you can't even speak, and if you're threatened with violence for merely saying words and asking for clarification, then how can you ever expect to get a fair and meaningful hearing?
So play your cards. That's what you're saying. Just play them as they're dealt.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know, because I'm sure at some point in time I'm gonna get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
With some charge or another. I'm probably gonna get to that point to where I'm beating him so much he's gonna be like, "You say another word." But I mean, I'm not gonna try to go in there and do what he did, because that was just wild. He's crazy. I mean, for him
Well,
to actually.
was it?
I mean,
Was it?
well, it's wild for the judge to even have you in his courtroom trying you for such a matter like this. But
Well,
yeah, I
hold
see what you're
on.
saying.
You were saying earlier that you sound smart to a dumb person. Well, Bowman seems crazy to us because we're not as crazy as he is. You see my point?
Of course, yeah, I understand. Well, I'm clear of that.
And another thing you can learn from that role play is me and Bowman were both listening to the judge, asking the judge to clarify what they were saying. We weren't just going off on a different topic or a same question or repeating ourselves either.
Honestly, I'm just saying it's a surprise to me. That's all I'm trying to say. But I'm sure you get that.
But you've been through this, Robbie, so I mean, you got some input here.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of how to say, it's getting the cobwebs of authority out of your mind, because that fear that, oh no, I can't believe someone said that to a judge, that comes from your indoctrination. That comes from your belief in their authority or their willingness to inflict violence, all willy-nilly.
Oh,
And
I agree 100%. That's definitely programming that's still stuck on my head. I just got out of the habit today. I mean, I just got it, like, got that into my head that it needs to get out. Like, I mean, it takes time for your habits to go away. So I mean, yeah, I'm clear of this.
mm-hmm. Well, and it really helps to internalize all of this, to figure out why they say the things that they do, to pay close attention to the words that you use, because they're serious when they say, you know, your words can and will be used against you. So it's being in, like, the purpose of these role plays is not to just go down the same road every time until you learn the script. It's to find the cobwebs in your mind that still are clinging to the myth of authority. It's about finding the things that a judge will easily be able to use against you, the thoughts that are sort of still controlling you, and weeding them out.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I've been surrounded by people that go the same way that think the same way that I have. And now that I'm surrounded by different people, I can think differently. It goes to say you need to surround yourself by like people. And that's my problem. I haven't been surrounded by like people in forever. I've never been around a group of people such as you all. Like, this is really my first really experiences like this. So over time, y'all will see me grow. Y'all will see me improve on my articulation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, at least right now, everybody in this room is so far open up to new ideas and at least new opinions, as long as they can, like, discuss them in a civil manner. That way you can reach a conclusion of your own choosing, or at least your own finding.
I've kind of always been open. That's how I've been so programmed. Because I guess we're just born open. Then we get told to be closed, and then maybe we might get open to new things in certain ways. But I mean, honestly, we've always been open. People just close us.
The indoctrination camp of the educational system.
That's the shittest thing. Because when I got arrested, they said on my pretrial what does he call it, conditions, I was to remain at a certain location that I was at, go back to school, and like listen to my parents. Because I basically at that point I had moved out and was living with someone else. So they're like, go live here and do this, because they were, someone else's name got put on my bond. So basically, no money got put up. It was just basically someone saying that they would be responsible for me. So I had to go back to school. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I really had to go back and finish high school when I didn't want to. Like, that's the sad thing about it, because that's my whole life. I've just been in school and I never liked it. Never really wanted to be there. And then they forced me to go back. And I hate indoctrination. I never really liked school. I always wanted to skip. I rather because school wasn't making me no money. Like, I always had other stresses. Like, this school's not paying my bills. School's not doing this. It's only like taking my time and effort from all this useless information that I'm going to forget as soon as the bell rings. When the bell rings, it's just signal to go on to the next learning lessons.
Yeah, that's why they make school. That's why they tell you to go.
School's not made to make you money. It's made to make someone else money.
Yeah, like my parents, they already went to school. What do I need to go to school for? Like, they can teach me basic English and all that stuff. And like, if I need to learn it later in life, then I'll learn it. But if I don't need to learn it, then it's only getting in the way.
No, see, the downside of schools is they don't teach you anything useful. They just teach you how not to critically think, because critical thinking is horrible.
The best thing I learned from school was actually in a critical thinking class. It's funny that you say that, but we have a critical thinking class, but it's still on subjects that we don't have any say in. But it's basically like she taught us like how to take tests, and that the test taking ability of what she helped us improve on. That's all the critical thinking class was for. It wasn't to make us more intelligent and whatnot. It was just like giving us a little strategy to be better at taking a test. So it doesn't really help at all. But I'm taking that and using it towards the Socratic method to help me better will basically improve my Socratic method skills.
It's funny that you use the word intelligent, because schools aren't for intelligence. They're pretty much to subdue it.
Not at all. No. Intelligence is never tested in school. You never once get tested. Your intelligence never once get tested, because intelligence is like problem solving. There's like 4 different categories of intelligence. I can't remember all of them, but there's 4 different ones that we never ever like. That's what our IQ is based on. Is like 4 different categories, and like our IQ is summed up with 4 different things, and the overall score is made. But the gap is made whenever quality of learning is in play, and that's why Black kids are at a disadvantage over whites, because quality of education. That's just studies. I'm not saying this and that, black and white, racism, blah blah blah. I'm just saying there's a skill gap that needs to be addressed.
There's gaps everywhere. Schools, they're not the best.
I'm never gonna put my kids through school at all. Not one bit. I'm gonna be successful enough to where I can maintain and have my I guess you could say my wife, my partner, to basically raise my kids and give them insight and not be there for my kids. My dad wasn't very much there. Like, he was there physically, but mentally he wasn't like pushing me to go chase my dreams. No one ever told me to chase my dreams. No one ever told me to be who you want, express yourself. No one ever. They all had a slave mentality, so I grew up with a slave mentality until I started hanging out with people that didn't have a slave mentality. Like, when you get information from outside of your household, it's like things start to change.
Yeah, but see, anyone who believes in government at all has slave mentality.
100%. I've called my friend slave recently, because I was so fed up with them not understanding what I was saying. Like, I couldn't have been more clear about what I was saying. And like, I was like, yeah, that's your slave mentality. It's like, oh, it's the law, like blah blah blah, like law. I'm like, fuck. I don't even hang around any of my friends anymore.
That's when you get Socratic on them. It's the law. Well, ask them what the law is. You can't just say something and expect someone to take it at your word. You have to get them to question their own belief and, well, really belief at that point.
I've always kind of been fucking a Socratic like a Socratic thinker, but like I never really somebody told me to actually like use it in my life. Like, I kind of just like, oh, why? Like, why do you believe that? But I didn't have like, I had like 25% of it, and now I'm getting up to like 50 and 60%. Like right now, I'm not even 100%. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, oh, I'm understanding of all this and I'm clear of all this. I mean, I'm still learning. So, but I know that I've kind of always kind of did that, because before, like recently, I didn't even know the Socratic method until like maybe like a week ago. And this happened probably 2 and 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when I called my friends slaves. So I definitely am improving. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Oh, thanks, Rika. I see what you said. I guess you're talking about my children and whatnot. My future children.
See, that's funny, because if your friends are black, which I'm assuming they are, that's fucking, like, I can't do that as a white person. I'm just saying,
No.
tossing it out there. Like, I'll call a black person and say, I'm getting my ass whooped.
See, that's the thing. Like, if you would see me physically, I'm actually a pretty big person. No one really challenging me, but I mean, it's just my way of going around it. I mean, going about it is like, yeah, you're a slave. Like, I'm like, because I'm already brutally honest. I'm already like, y'all don't really actually know me outside of this, but I'm actually a brutally honest person. People, I mean, the females like it, but I mean, in a way, I kind of just like don't take shit from anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only person I've taken shit from recently is the fucking court system, because I don't understand it. That's why I fear them, because with lack of understanding, you get fear. lack of clarity, you get just reactions that you don't want. Like, they're not responses, they're reactions.
Yeah, that is very true.
Colombo said the authority of those who teach is often an obstacle of those who want to learn. Wow, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, given the conversation, that's more than appropriate. But yeah, once you get good at the Socratic method, and actually starting to question everything, and you actually use it, it becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Samson. That's why I plan on being successful and plan on being there for my kids, because my father wasn't really there for me. He was there, like I said, but like he abused us and did drugs and didn't pay the rent. It put me through a lot mentally. So that's why I'm such a strong person now, in a way, is because I had to be strong. I had to go to school after seeing my mom get her ass whooped, like being like stayed up all night, and my dad tormenting the house on his fucking rages. Like I had to be that. I had to be like fake basically, and go around and like acting like nothing ever happened. Like, sad about it. That's the sad part. But I mean, I'm better now. I've gotten past all that. That's why I'm able to talk about it, because I'm not holding a grudge on it no more.
You broke the pattern.
The chain has been broken.
But at least you've already critically analyzed where you came from, what the possibility was, and you changed it. So that right there is a fucking phenomenal first step.
I'm appreciating the support. I wish everybody was here for me to I mean, I wish everybody was here for them to hear that, but I mean, y'all heard it, so that's all good.
So you think you might be somewhat ready for a role play, Cook?
Oh, not at all. I don't have the script memorized at all. That's why I'm sitting here soaking up information of what y'all were role playing. I've been soaking up the information because I haven't really studied as I should. And I've been trying to, instead of studying the script, I've been trying to figure out how to learn differently. Because once you learn differently, I mean, you can start actually studying. But I mean, now all this insight from Gary, I think I was talking earlier, maybe even you, but just getting over the fact of,
Oh, no, that was Gary. I'm not taking credit for that one.
I can't remember who was talking. There's been a lot of talking. But I mean, probably now on the next day, I'll probably be a little bit better because I can memorize a little more. But I mean, not really that ready. Not gonna lie.
You got what, till the 11th?
Yeah, today's the 8th, so 9, 10, 11, 3 days. And I probably could be on in the morning, still rehearsing in the morning before I go, because my court's at 1:30, so I still have a little bit of time to prepare before. So I have 3 good days. Well, 2 and some change. I don't even know, but somewhere in there.
Well, here's a thought. Get one of your friends who quotes the law. Role play with them. Get them to be the judge. See what they say and how they respond, and then kind of work on your method.
I don't have any friends. I don't know. I'm literally by myself. Like, none of my friends are even on the same shit that I'm on. I may have one. He's a fellow. He's actually the person that I got arrested with. He may be down for it, but he's not as advanced as I have been, because he hasn't gotten to any of it. So I don't really know how that's gonna work. And I'll have 3 days. I don't know. Y'all are my closest friends. I'm not gonna lie. just because I'm so different, just because I've always been different. Like in the past couple of years, I've always been different. So I've lost a lot of friends, so-called friends.
Well, you're going to have an interesting case to, talk about based on his outcome versus your outcome, him going with the system and you going against the grain. That'd be a good comparison right there.
Oh no, nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him. There was a scale found under his seat. Nothing happened to him though, even though he's on probation, even though we were smoking, even though all this stuff, nothing happened to him. Even the speeding violation, he was doing 48 and then 35. The speeding violation wasn't even recorded. It's on the paper that said it happened, but as far as him getting a ticket for it, nothing.
Gotcha.
So he's not as motivated as I am. I'm definitely way more motivated to do this. I've already told him about it, but he's kind of brushed it off.
Yeah, because he's going scot-free. You're the one facing charges.
Exactly. Yeah, he's on probation for like possession of MDMA and other shit. He's not actually scot-free, but I mean, he's already done for his trial's already over. He's already probably waived his right to I'm not sure what to say about that, but he's already pleaded and is doing his he's carrying out his punishment.
Gotcha. So he's already done.
Yeah, but that happened like a year ago maybe. But I mean, yeah, I'm in it by myself, honestly.